Hello, everybody. Welcome and good afternoon to everyone who's here tonight. Again, this is Mrs. White, and I'm so excited to host our third part series of our parent workshop presented by Magnolia Science Academy-San Diego's finest teachers. Now, our workshop this time is about Illuminate Parent Portal, which is, of course, where our students' information and also grades will be located. So this is where our student records are kept and like attendance, grades, and all of that. So we will show you how to log in, register, and of course, some other essential features helpful for you and your students. Particularly their grades. So, without further ado, I will be calling in my Illuminate Workshop crew members. And let's start first with Mrs. Reyes. Hi, Miss Reyes.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Mr. Arslan. Hey, Mr.
Hi,
Arslan.
everybody. Good evening.
We also have Miss Wright and Mr. Maines. How are you guys doing?
Awesome.
Awesome. Sweet. So how's your afternoon? Did you guys get a little rest and all that?
We're working really hard getting the school year started. We're really excited, looking forward to this awesome year.
I know, right? So, yeah, tell us a little bit more while we're waiting for our parents. I know you guys, if you guys are here joining us today, let us know what grade level is your student. And we're excited to see our parents here tonight. Mr. Maines, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I had a great afternoon. Got to hang out with my daughter and got to rest a little bit between prepping for next week. But excited to be here and excited to be involved and make sure our parents understand this amazing platform.
Awesome. And Mr. Arslan, how's life doing? It's Friday.
Yeah, it's going well. So like we are preparing for the new school year. I also went to swimming pool with my family, so just resting last day. So before school starts, hopefully we will have amazing school year.
Yeah, I know, right? We're all excited, nervous.
Yes.
I don't know what, scared or uncertain at the same time, but you know what? We'll roll it out. But before we do that, we have some parents here tonight. We have a parent, Norma. Her student is an incoming sixth grade. Mr. Maines will be your student. Sweet.
All right.
And welcome, Mr. Agasani. Thanks for supporting us and being there with us. And Miss Tate, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. And Coach Craig, thank you for cheering us in. And we have Nicole. So her student is an incoming seventh grader. Welcome. And I hope that this is going to be a helpful workshop for you guys and as well as Grace. And she's a parent of an incoming sixth grader as well as, I know a familiar name, Samantha L. Miss Wright, and Miss Reyes. She's going to be our student this year. And we have Jay Jensen. So, Leaf, nice. He's our incoming eighth grader. Welcome. And I hope this is going to be helpful for everyone. So we're going to get to it. All right. So Mr. Maines and Mr. Arslan will be our chat moderator this evening so that we would be able to answer as much questions as we can. So Mr. Maines and Mr. Arslan will be on our YouTube or Facebook chat room. So please ask us any questions, type it into the chat box, and we'll answer as much as we can. But if not, right after our presentation, we also have some time for us to open the floor for everyone's questions about Illuminate. So we'll get to it. See you later, Mr. Arslan, Mr. Maines. See you in a bit. All right. Ready to go. Miss Wright and Miss Reyes. Illuminate Home Connection Parent Portal. So we are going to start first with what Illuminate is. Of course, Illuminate is for grades and attendance, period. I hope that's straightforward, okay? Because yesterday when we did the Google Classroom workshop, we emphasized that Google Classroom is where the assignments are located. You can also find some announcements there from the teacher, especially during asynchronous time. So any notices or anything regarding assignments, deadlines, and everything, it's on Google Classroom. But when your student's grade from Google Classroom is finalized and it's also been recorded by the teacher, it goes to Illuminate. Okay? And every day when they check in to their classes, the teachers also record attendance to Illuminate. So that is what Illuminate is. So we'll be tackling on 6 things today. We're going to be accessing Illuminate portal. I'll show you that in a few minutes. Also, what are those the sidebar menu? What are those icons that are available for us and it's useful? Essential features, email features. When do we check Illuminate? And we'll also share some tips for parents and students for academic success. So let's get to it. All right, so when we access Illuminate, so I'm just gonna put it on full view mode so that we have everything in here. So when we access Illuminate for the very first time, and I hope parents already have received the email from our school, which is the access code, because this is an important part wherein in order for you to create an account, you have to have this access code sent to you, okay? And the website is, of course, here, magnoliapublicschools.illuminatehc.com/login in order for you to create your account. So that is pretty straightforward. Once you create your account, then, of course, you will be prompted to put in your information. Make sure that your first and last name is there, parallel to how when you register your student. Your email, that one that you usually use for communication, make sure that you have that, and then complete your credentials, and it'll lead you to your Illuminate parent portal. So let me exit my screen for a bit because I'm going to show you, and I'm going to log into my account.
Yeah, we're lucky
All right.
that Miss White is actually going to be a teacher and a parent, so she's able to show us this.
Yes, exactly. So once you have created your account, I would recommend for you to just save your credentials so you won't forget. So here is the whole environment of your Illuminate parent portal. So on the left-hand side, you have the dashboard, assessment, attendance, grades, gradebook, messaging, report cards, state result, blah, blah, and then, of course, your schedule. And then when you want to change your password, you have your accounts down at the very bottom of the menu bar. But the 2 important things which we already have customized for our Illuminate account is your gradebook and your class grades. But on the left-hand side, you should be able to see when you click, let's start first with the schedule. So when you click the schedule for the first time and the school is not in session, we want to make sure that this is set to the 31st because that's the beginning of our first day, so that we can access where the schedule is. So here is, so when you click submit, it's gonna populate the student schedule. You have also the option to print it out so that you can see, you can, have it on your student's wall and they have it ready to go. So you can also print that. So I already printed my students out, and that's really helpful because the print is quite big and then he has it with him. Now, the second one that's important is the grade book. Now, right now, there isn't anything because teachers have not graded anything yet. But once you see this, I'll show it on the presentation in a few minutes of how it may look like once teachers put in the grade. Now, the last one I want to mention is the attendance. Now, the attendance can show present or absent. It'll show you kind of like a summary, or when you click attendance marks, once the teacher already have checked attendance live starting on Monday, it should appear some marks per teacher of what if they are absent or present in class. So that is your gradebook. So we're gonna move forward because we want to show you, of course, our gradebook. Miss Wright and Miss Reyes, we're back on the side.
Yeah, so you can see here on the screen, it was a screenshot that Mrs. White took for us. You can see that there's basically a breakdown of the different students' grades, and you can see that there's different colors that have been associated with it. So Illuminate does a cool thing so you can really quickly glance at your students' grades without having to actually look at the smaller percentage or the letter grade. You can just tell it based on the color. Can we go to the next page? Next slide. So the breakdown of the grades, if you see a really bright green, you'll see that that's your student has an A light green is an A minus. If you see any blue, that's a B. Yellow is a C plus, orange is C minus. And then if you see any red, definitely want to talk to your student about what's going on because that's an F. Some of the custom marks that you might see in the actual gradebook itself, you might see that there's an M. That means that the assignment has been marked missing by the teacher. That means that they did not turn it in. It is actually missing. We don't know where it is. That means that they have gotten 0 credit for it because we can't grade something that's missing. If you see an X, that means that it's been excused by the teacher. So that means that it's not going to be part of the grading system. It won't be counted towards their final grade. It doesn't impact their grade. And you might also see an I, which is for incomplete. So if a student does something and does it only part way, a teacher, instead of giving, 50% or something, they might write incomplete, which is 0 credit. And that's a clue for the student that they need to go back and finish it and redo it so that they can earn credit and earn a grade for that assignment.
Awesome. That's it. That's pretty straightforward, right?
Yep.
And email feature. Miss Wright.
Yeah, so for this one, we want to stress that there is somehow a messaging communication within Illuminate, but it is not an ideal way to contact us. We as teachers in our version of Illuminate do not get a notification that says that we have a message. So we might not notice that you've sent it to us for several days or even weeks if we don't happen to see the very small thing that happens and click on this part. So what we stress that's so important is if you have a question about your students' grades or anything that you want to communicate with us about, please use our emails. Email is absolutely the best way to get a hold of us. Using the communication feature in Illuminate is not. Do not use it.
Yeah, Miss Wright. So apart from the email, I just saw some comment from our audience tonight, which I thought we should clarify, especially for the schedule. So I just wanna share with you guys. So this one, it says on the screen schedule that we saw, there's like period 1 followed by period 1B and so on. On his screen, it's not organized. I have period 5 async followed by period 1. So can we clarify on this one before we move forward? Because I thought this is kind of important for parents.
That's a great question. Thank you for highlighting that. So for some reason, the way that Illuminate is it might not be in order of the period that you have it. It might be in the order that the class was somehow created when we created it in the computer. But the names 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, those show the order you should be attending your class. And that's the order that you need to pay attention to. Don't pay attention to the order that it might be on Illuminate. Please use the numbers. That's a great question.
Yeah, exactly. So again, Miss Wright, about the SSR, it's not that, right?
Well, and period 5 is your SSR, which you will attend only on Wednesdays.
Only on Wednesdays.
10 to 11.
Yes, which is why on Sunday, Miss Wright will also gonna be having another live for that, but hopefully it answered make a differences question. So is there anything else that we should be informing our parents about the schedule that we have, Miss Wright?
I do know that
No.
this is, sorry, I do know that this is a foreign kind of territory for all of us as we're doing distance learning. Myself, what I've done is I printed out a student schedule right here. I know it's hard to see, but it's right on my desk, and it breaks down the first period, the time, and then second period and break and so forth. So if you have a schedule like this and also Illuminate a printout of your student's schedule, you can go ahead and match the period and the time slot as well.
Yeah, that's actually what I did too with my son, because I printed out the schedule from Illuminate. I had to write on that printout based on the distance learning schedule that we also have with the time slot in it. So hopefully that would be helpful. But don't worry, we got you covered. If there's any more questions, please let us know. Okay.
I'm a visual learner and kinesthetic as well. So it's a great idea for students to help them memorize their schedule, to write it down. What's first period, what subject, and the time. And then after a while, they'll be adjusted to that routine.
Yeah. Yep. That's perfect, Miss Reyes. So moving forward, Miss Wright, just to recap a little bit. So email features that we have on Illuminate is not monitored because we don't get notification when there's a parent sending us a message. So if you could email us straight to using our school email address, please do that so that we get notified right away with your message, especially if it's really important. Please don't use our email feature for Illuminate. Sweet. So when do we check Illuminate? So let's talk about this quickly. So that depends on the level of independence of your students. Our suggestions are pretty, like flexible, either daily, every Wednesday or Friday, or weekly. Me as a parent, most likely I'll be checking at the end of the week to see how it goes. But as teachers, we are actually required to enter grades once a week. There might be some instances that we as teachers put more than one in a week since we have several assignments, but it depends. Sometimes if the assignment assigned for a student on a certain week is not due until next week, of course we won't be able to enter that within that week. So that means the grade might not change if we do a daily checking. Any thoughts or any other info?
Yeah.
Right.
I would love to emphasize that the weekly check-in is probably the most ideal, but if you have a student that you think you really want to keep track of and you really want to know what's going on day to day in their class, like checking their grades every single day with them is a great way to communicate about what's going on. But please don't be the kind of person who waits until the end of the semester to find out what your student's grade is. You have the ability to check all the time. And so we encourage you to check at least weekly with your student, have that time, sit down with them. It should not take more than 5-10 minutes to talk about how they're doing. You can celebrate with them on how they're doing well and find out plans and maybe email teachers together if you see something that's concerning you, and you can catch it early so you don't wait until the end of the semester to try and, turn in missing work.
That's a great idea. I'll keep that in mind because I already have a 6th grader. So yes, thank you, Ms. Wright, for that. Like what she mentioned, we already have covered this slide. I just wanted to show again, Google Classroom is the best way for us to see parents, our students' assignment. It would be also nice to see some of your students' teachers' feedback. That way you have some talking points with your student or what's going on, what the teacher may have placed there as a feedback, especially in English when they write, the comments of their English teachers. That would be something that could also give us that connection with our students regarding that. But Illuminate, I don't think we would be able to see any feedback from the teachers except for the final grades.
Right.
Report.
So this is right. It's a great example to say if a student turns in work to me and I mark an I for incomplete. If you see that on your students Illuminate, that's a great time to say, okay, let's look at the title of the assignment in Illuminate. Let's find it in Google Classroom. Let's look at what the teacher said, because they probably gave you some tips on how you could turn it in and complete it. So instead of having to ask the teacher, why is this incomplete? You can look at the Google Classroom assignment, and you're together with your student, you can make a plan for them to complete it, turn it in, and then they don't have an incomplete anymore.
Yes, that's amazing. Thank you for that, Miss Wright. Which is why we're going to add on some helpful tips for your students' academic success. Miss Reyes, let's
So another helpful tip for students' academic success is in the gradebook, there are different categories for you to consider. They have different weights. Assignments are weighted differently, and when trying to raise your grade, look for the biggest point value and also the assignments that are in question. So for example, in the image below right here, you will notice there is the category of the title of the assignments themselves, and then the total points percentage mark, which is the grade, in the weighted category. So if you look at, for example, this student right here earned an F in 44% in the summative assessment. That's 11 out of 25% right there. So that is pretty significant. But you can also look at the one above it, which is also an F in the portfolio. More likely, of course, this is by teacher's discretion, more likely student is when we want them to be self-advocate. We want them to communicate with the teachers and how they can improve their grade. Because ultimately, students learn when they have the opportunity to redo it. And oftentimes, an assignment like a portfolio or a journal or interactive notebook, teachers are more likely to give them a second opportunity as opposed to a test. If it's a test, it's probably going to be test corrections. But with this in mind, looking at the weighted category, instead of turning in, let's say, extra credit, which is so minimal, or asking about how can I improve in a 5% category, if you took the time to really be diligent and redo the portfolio, which is a 15% versus a 5%, you have a higher chance to improve your grade and to, for that success overall. And in the last slide, we will see for the final tip, if you can go to the last slide, you will see here some other suggestions for academic success. Try to submit every assignment on time. And because through distance learning and for accountability, we want to make sure that our students turn in their assignments at the end of the asynchronous time. So be mindful that teachers are, even though some teachers may not be live during the asynchronous time, we are giving feedback to students and we're grading automatically for that accountability. So just make sure that they have that turned in on time. Keep in mind, the larger the assignments might take, it may take teachers longer to grade. So for example, as an English teacher, essays and projects, it can be a lot in terms of giving students feedback, making the corrections and giving students that immediate feedback. It may take a week or two, depending on the size of the assignment itself. So we ask for grace in that aspect. If you submit late work, teachers may take a few days to process. So please consider that our priority is to, instruct our students and to grade assignments that are turned in that day, and then we go back in time within a timely manner, of course. Pay attention to progress report timing because teachers will be finalizing grades around then. We do have an academic calendar that you can retrieve on our school site, and also there is a direct link that Coach Craig or the other leads have sent out. You can just click on it and it gives you the grading periods of the progress reports and the quarter and semester grades. Finally, teachers are available during office hours to discuss any questions that you may have. We have a virtual hour as well at the end of the day where you can communicate with us. So we can set a time where we can communicate with you, even with you and your child, or we just have that tutoring session where we can work with students specifically. Keep in mind that this is junior high and we want to advocate for our students. We want them to be self-advocate in the sense where we want them to be independent. And it's great to have that parent communication, but we want our students to reach out to the teachers, be confident. We are here. We are here to help your child succeed. So again, all of these tips are great. Have that communication with your child, but we want to also embrace that independence in our students.
That's amazing. These are very helpful tips for our parents. So I guess they're set up for academic success. after all these tips, Miss Reyes. Thank you for that. So that being said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change. See, I just ruined the quote by Mandela. There you go. Let me do it again. Maybe Miss Wright, you can read it better than I do. Come on, do it for me.
Yeah, I'll do it. All right. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world.
Yeah. Are you ready to change the world on Monday?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, me too. I mean, we are changing the landscape of education starting Monday, right? And, it's a powerful thing. We, all of us, change is sometimes scary, but at the same time, I feel like this is an opportunity for all of us, teachers, parents, and students, to learn something new, to evolve to something else better than it was. I love Charles Darwin, and I always remember that, it's not the strongest, the biggest, but it's the most adaptable that will survive. And I think we're going to get through this, especially if we have parents, students, and teachers working together to change the world.
Nelson Mandela is a great example in the sense where his situation, he had no control in the apartheid in South Africa, and yet he was able to break those chains. And with education, he was able to empower himself. What a great leader he has, and we can all, model after him.
That is amazing. So we're gonna bring Mr. Arslan and Mr. Maines back in to the studio so that we can start answering some questions, putting in some comments in so we can address it. Mr. Maines, welcome back. And Mr. Arslan. All right, so we're going to open the floor for our audience here. So I think Mr. Maines, you did a great job addressing all those tips for our parents today, especially the grading systems and stuff like that. So just a reminder, though, from Coach Gray, a time schedule was sent out to students and parents today. I think, yes, I did receive for the 6th grade team that a week at a glance, distance learning schedule, and the WAG, did I say that? Week at a glance, distance learning schedule. There's another. The syllabus for the grade level is also sent out today. So please check your email. It's also sent to your students' email. So hopefully that's also another helpful way for you to find these information for your students, especially when they start logging into Zoom starting Monday. So let's take a look at if there's other questions that, one second. I am.
And Ms. Wright, while you're looking for that,
Yes.
I guess I want to mention. So if you also can't find in your email, you can always go back to Parent Square itself and go back and look through the stream, and there's all that information there as well. So if you're like, oh, I deleted that email, I don't know where it is, you can always go back and you can find that information, which is super valuable because then it can be found at your fingertips at any point.
Yes, that is awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think we have answered most of the questions, or there's a 10 seconds delay every time that, the feed comes in. So that's why I'm kind of like waiting for a bit. But any other... Yes, go ahead, Ms. Wright.
A few of the schedules have changed since you might have looked at them at the beginning of the week. So I would just recommend before, maybe on Sunday night, just triple check that your student has the correct schedule because a few of them did change so that we could balance out classes. And remember, keep checking because they will probably be changing as we continue to make adjustments to our schedule to best help our students and make sure that everyone is getting all the support that they need.
Awesome. Any one question here, Mr. Arslan, quickly. The questions are coming in now. From Veronica Dominguez, when you say the student email, are you referring to the email Google Class? I think
that question is just asking the email that you use for Google Classroom, and the answer is yes, they're the same. You log into the Google Classroom, the students have a Gmail that's associated with this, that they're the same.
Yes, and to also reiterate that for the student email is usually like the first initial of their first name, and then the initial of their middle name, and then their last name at magnoliascience.org. That should be the email that they're using, not their personal email if they have a personal email. So please make sure that your student is using the school email account. That's that. So another question is from Norma. Is the distance learning guide the same as the virtual learning guide?
Yes.
Yes, it is the same.
Sorry for using different words.
What?
I said sorry for confusing them using different words, but they're the same.
Yeah, they're the same. And you would know that it's a virtual learning guide because you will see our virtual faces using, we use the Bitmoji. And when your student clicks that, it'll lead them to their Zoom live session. That's it. And then there's a parent, I don't see the times classes at 8 a.m. is equal to period 1.
That's correct. So we made some adjustments to the schedule based on some information from the staff. Originally, there was going to be an SSR block, but we decided to do the morning announcements as part of our first period class on Mondays and Thursdays. And then on Tuesdays and Fridays, because their first period is actually their fourth period, that will be the class they join at 8 a.m. to go to the morning announcements and participate in that as a class. So.
Yes, yeah. That's right. So let's
And Miss Wright, I have one more thing I kind of remembered about the email. It's really important for your student to make sure that they are logged into their at magnoliascience.org one, because those are the only accounts that will be allowed to use for the Zoom session. So if it's either regular Gmail, normal personal email account, you won't be submitted to that. So it's really, really important that you ensure that it is your actual at magnoliascience.org email.
Yes.
Email address.
Yes, that's exactly what we, because I think if let's say for example I'm a parent, I'm gonna have my son use my home computer. Sometimes I've already logged in there and it's on Zoom under my account. So definitely my student will not be able to log in because that link is associated to magnoliascience.org domain, and that's the only domain that Zoom is going to accept. And then it's going to say that unable to join because it's not a part of the organization or a domain or whatever. So you'll get that error if that Zoom account, that app on your computer, is actually logged into a different account that's not associated with Magnolia Science. Sweet.
One more thing I can maybe add. So for the attendance piece, we know that like all parents are not staying with their child like during the day, and then they are working and they are away from home. If parents like wonder if their child like attended live sessions or they did their work or not, so please go ahead and like sign in Illuminate. So teachers submit their attendance until 3:30. After 3:30, so like you can check the attendance like on Illuminate, that and you can see that like your child attended live sessions or not. So then that way like you can know so like your child exactly or attended or not all the sessions.
Yes, and then we have another question here. If we have problems on Monday, who can we call or contact?
I would think the office would be the best place.
Yes.
And they'll be able to direct you to who is going to be able to help you further, depending on what your problem is.
Yes, they will be able to. Unfortunately, if you send email to us, we might be we won't be able to monitor our email because we are also in our Zoom live session. So office office call would be the fastest if you need immediate answer to the question that might have technical difficulties or whatnot. But definitely, if you also send us an email, it'll just take some time for us to answer your question. Sweet. I think we covered everything. Are we? Hopefully, we have given our parents some confidence starting Monday regarding all the 3 workshops that we provided for our parents: the Google workshop, Google Classroom workshop, Zoom, and Illuminate. So, any additional words of encouragement for our parents tonight?
Yes, I would love to give some. I am sure right now that you are feeling overwhelmed. It feels like so many different links and places to be and things to learn. And I would just say it's going to be okay. We are here to help you and to work with you. And if it doesn't work correctly in that very first Zoom lesson, maybe you can get into the second one and you can troubleshoot. And I would say don't panic. You know, we're here to help you. We want to make sure that you have a good experience. So just keep reaching out for help. Give us grace too, because we're going to be doing this same thing. It's new for us. We're trying it out for the first time. You know, so we'll work together to make this a great experience for you and your student.
Awesome. Ms. Reyes? You're muted. You're muted.
You're muted.
That's going to happen too, by the way, with all
All
the
the time.
technical issues. Yes. Definitely want to say thank you, Mrs. White, for giving this platform for parents and for teachers to build that community. Otherwise, I mean, under normal circumstances, we would see you in person, we would shake your hand, and we would introduce ourselves. So we definitely appreciate this platform. And again, we hope that we've answered all of your questions, and feel free to continue to ask questions if you have any concerns.
Yes, definitely. Mr. Maines?
We actually were asked this question today at a staff meeting, and my answer was, it's just like jumping into a pool. Like, you're fearful, but you just got to just do it. So we're just going to jump in, and we're all going to just tread the water together and make sure that no one else sinks. And we have each other to support and hold on to each other. So I think that's kind of what everyone's kind of thinking, our mantra. So we're going to just dog paddle to the edge of the pool as much as we can, and then we'll adjust if we need. But thank you for you guys for your support.
I'll look for you when I start drowning, Mr. Maines. Mr. Arslan.
I just want to say thank you for your collaboration. So we are in these unprecedented times. So, and then we are we are all human. We can make mistakes, but please, if you have any questions, don't keep it in your mind. So please ask us. So, and then you are not giving us extra work. So please feel free to send a question. So please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Yes, and we all know in Magnolia, we are a great team. All of us are working together so that we set our students up for success, which is why we put all these opportunities and also different avenues for our parents to use as, ways that we can communicate as much as we can. And so that being said, thank you so much, Ms. Reyes, Ms. Wright, Mr. Arslan, Mr. Maines, for being with us tonight for our parent workshop. And I will see you in the backstage. And thank you so much for joining today. And hopefully this is helpful for our parents. I'll see you then, you guys, because I'm going to plug our Sunday final reminders. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Sweet. All right. So I guess to wrap things up, I just wanted to let our parents know that we are here for you guys. We will be together. We'll have this community wherein we are all in this together. So please reach out to us as much as you can. We won't let you drown with sorrow and pain, because we're all in this together, like I said, and we're going to help each other out. And hopefully this workshop is helpful for you. And if you missed the workshop yesterday on Google Classroom and also in Zoom meeting, please visit my YouTube channel, Ginang White Science Online, or Mrs. White Science Online Facebook page. And you can also visit Magnolia Science Academy San Diego's Facebook page as well. It's also posted there. So again, thank you so much for watching, everybody. And we're going to be seeing you on Sunday for our last minute reminders from your teacher before we go to first day of school on the 31st. I'll see you then. Bye. Join us on Sunday, August 30th at 5 p.m. for a live session for some last-minute reminders from your teachers before our first day of school at Magnolia Science Academy. We will show some important information about the school schedule and tips to a successful first day of school online. We hope to see you then at Mrs. White Science Live.